5 as McCoy picks up his 8th victory of the season.
Goes down as an 8-3 final. Once that near 2 minutes of riding time gets tacked on, that moves Virginia up 18-6 in the team score.
All right, moving ahead now to 174. This is another one that we're keeping our eye on in one of these really intriguing deep weight classes. Justin Phillips will get the nod for Virginia, the redshirt senior out of Greenwood Village, Colorado, against 16th ranked Matt Finesilver. Finesilver with the win in the midweek over Gardner Webb, a 10-0 major decision. Finesilver comes in at 23-6 overall.
Yeah, you said this is a deep weight class. I would think there's not much argument. This is the ACC's best weight class. You got former NCAA champion Mekhi Lewis, currently ranked 3rd. Former NCAA finalist Hayden Hidley, currently ranked 4th. You got Clay Lout from UNC, ranked 9th right now. And Glenn Lanham pointed this out when we talked to him this week. The reason Clay Lout is ranked 9th is because he went out and got a win over this man, Matt Finesilver, who was ranked up in that area prior to that loss.
And that's one of the things that Glenn Lanham was talking to Matt Finesilver about. Perhaps a little bit of blood here. The officials will take care of that. Said that, you know, for Finesilver, a lot of guys go out, beat Matt Finesilver to your point, and then they go up at the rankings. Glenn Lanham said, okay, Matt, now you need to start making some hay on these other guys so you can go up in the rankings.
Yeah, he'll have plenty of opportunities here within the ACC championships with those guys we spoke about earlier. And let's not sleep on Justin Phillips here either. I know he's a guy that has moved up from 157 pounds, jumped up 2 weight classes, but he had a really tough match against Clay Lout, the guy from Carolina who's now ranked in the top 10. And Glenn Lanham even told us, he said, I thought Justin Phillips had a case to be nationally ranked. So it's always, you know, when it's coming from the opposing coach, it means a little something there that they think that highly of this guy for Virginia. And he's broken his way into the lineup by jumping up 2 weight classes, but Steve Garland loves his story. He's a walk-on. He's been working his way up the depth chart, and Steve Garland said it's been all tenacity breaking into the lineup for Justin Phillips.
Those are the stories you love to see, aren't they? Just the guys that pay their dues, that work their way up, and now are having a ton of success. And this for Phillips, his redshirt senior season.
Yeah, it's kind of like how you would draw it up, right? A guy that kind of breaks onto the team, probably doesn't have many high expectations from the outside. Coming in as a walk-on, he's buried on the depth chart. I mean, we saw how much talent Virginia's got at 57 and 65, and he just found a way in. Nice shot from Finesilver. Look at that defense, though, from Phillips. Coming in immediately, getting that crotch lock. You need to be careful of that knee, yeah. Potentially dangerous.
Yep. Back to neutral. One of the things Glenn Lanham said about Matt Finesilver is he needs to trust his offense a little bit more. Is that something you've seen from Finesilver when you watched him wrestle the last couple of matches?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think everyone knows the Finesilvers have good defense. They're good scramblers. They're great on top. But that's the question with Matt Finesilver. Where's his offense? And again, I hate to keep going back to it, but when you got 3 top 10 guys nationally at this weight within your own conference, I mean, you're going to have to get your offense working in order to pick up those wins.
How does he get his offense going against Phillips this afternoon?
It's all about creating angles and getting to the – I think the Finesilvers have really good single-leg shots. I think it's getting to those a little bit. That would be very helpful for Matt. And Glenn Lanham told us he thought it was starting to click for Matt Finesilver. He was really encouraged by him picking up that major decision win over Shank at Gardner Webb, a guy that's really funky. He's got good defense. So Glenn Lanham has seen the flashes of it from Matt Finesilver. I think they just want a little bit more consistency out of his offense.
I have to remember that Matt Finesilver is a guy who really hasn't wrestled almost in a little over 2 full years because of some injuries, trying to get back into that shape pre-injury as he heads into the postseason.
Yeah, it's never an easy thing to do to come back from that long of a layoff. I mean, and who knows, you know, everyone had a weird year last year, but Finesilver, I can't even imagine what that was like. You're not able to practice and you're injured. just a tough situation.
I think saying that everyone had a weird year last year is probably the understatement of the week.
No doubt. Another good shot from Finesilver, going back to that low single, and just gritty defense there from Phillips. And these guys are banging down there right now. You can see how heavy those ties are, how heavy those hands are right now when these two guys tie up. Great camera work there. Really getting a good look at it.
Stall warning there on Virginia. Finesilver with the mat return.
And we're back to a scramble, and we're back to a potentially dangerous situation. But I love that shot from Matt Finesilver. He went high to the head, changed his level, incredible level change, low single, not able to finish.
Caution warning there on Finesilver. We restart. 15 seconds in the period. And another potentially dangerous, maybe some more blood there, I think, for Phillips.
Yeah, that nose is leaking.
Getting a little frustrating, too, for this redshirt senior, Justin Phillips.
I think both of these guys are a little frustrated the way they're coming in there and just real heavy-handed. But I tell you, going back to Finesilver and his offense, I thought that level change he had on that last shot before the potentially dangerous was an incredible level change, and that's exactly what he needs to be doing. Go high, change your level, go low. He's really good at that, and not everyone at 174 is going to be able to defend that.
8 seconds to go in this staccato opening period.
You might need to give me the definition of that later.
Okay,
Chris.
We'll talk afterwards. And as you might expect, no points across for either side after the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, things got a little chippy, no points. Matt Finesilver is going to start the second on bottom.
After Phillips deferred.
Phillips tries throwing that leg in, but not quick enough, and Finesilver's up and out.
The 1 point there for Finesilver. Riding time not a factor yet in the match either, just 5 seconds in the favor of Justin Phillips. Phillips goes low. Finesilver trying to fight it off.
The Finesilvers are so good at scrambling. We're going to see what Phillips has scrambling ability-wise here now. That was a great shot from Phillips. Very low, deep one. Really his first committed shot of this match, in my opinion. And of course, we've got blood time here.
That's been the story of the match so far. As you mentioned, the nose leaking a little bit for Phillips.
This match has been potentially dangerous and blood time stoppages.
Both trainers have been busy here in this matchup at 174.
Wiping the blood off of Matt Finesilver's back, getting him cleaned up and ready to get back to wrestling. They're cleaning up the mat right now, but it looks like Justin Phillips ready to get back going.
Only one more opportunity for both of these clubs to wrestle in ACC duels. Big one in Charlottesville next week. The Commonwealth Clash, Virginia and Virginia Tech. Meanwhile, the Blue Devils here on February 18th will take on Pittsburgh, one of the better programs in the conference as well. So it doesn't get any easier for either one of these teams. Virginia Tech, we know how good the Hokies have been year in and year out. Same for the Panthers. As we close down the regular season and eye the ACC championships in Charlottesville in early March.
Finesilver's got that arm tied up. Now he goes on the offensive.
Nothing yet. Now 2 points for Finesilver.
That right there is just an incredible job of Matt Finesilver by not stopping wrestling, and I'm assuming we have another blood time.
And you can see the frustration setting in for Finesilver, too. I feel like he had all of the momentum there before that blood stoppage time. We'll take one more look.
Yeah, right here, Finesilver had that far arm locked up, and then once he gets his legs back under him, he's able to turn that into an offense of his own, secures the two, and man, he had that leg in. That could have been trouble for Justin Phillips if not for the stoppage.
Everyone in to pitch a hand in, trying to clean the blood off of Phillips.
How many hands do we have down there? My gosh. And it might get to the point, Chris, I know you haven't called a ton of wrestling matches, so I don't know if you've seen this, but it might get to the point where we need to wrap.
Yep, I have seen this.
Around his head to prevent that nose from continuing the leak. Matt
Finesilver, though, he's ready to go.
Yeah, and right now, this is the mental game for Matt Finesilver. He's out there saying, look, y'all aren't stopping it from me. I'm ready to go. He's out there bouncing around, taking the center of the mat. Meanwhile, they're cleaning up Justin Phillips still. Plugging that nose.
And I'm sure frustrating for Phillips, too, with all these blood time stoppages. He wants to get out there and compete, and he doesn't want to be stopping the match. Breaks up his flow as well.
I'm sorry to disappoint Chris, but it doesn't look like they're going to wrap his whole head.
It does not appear that way.
Not yet, at least. Looks like they're going with just a simple, traditional plug. And
you never had to deal with any of this during your time, did you?
I think every wrestler ever has had to deal with this at one point or another. Does he have both nostrils plugged?
I believe he does, yeah.
He's got double plug in one nostril.
And I believe that's what the official is asking. Like, can you breathe? Are you okay? Phillips says he's all set. And now they are going to come over. I believe, Ryan, they are going to wrap his head.
There you go. The moment we've all been waiting for.
Steve Garland over to join the conversation, the longtime Virginia head coach.
Nope. They faked us out, I think. Oh, there we go. Headgear's coming off. They're doing it.
18-6, Virginia with the lead through the first 6 matches.
I was going to say, don't cover my man's eyes now. And that is, I know it looks fun, but that is a miserable way to wrestle, Chris. Let's be clear about that.
Can't imagine that's a whole lot of fun at all. What are the challenges having to wrestle like that? Obviously, the obvious one is your nostrils are covered, but outside of that, well, what are the other?
Well, I mean, the only way you can breathe is out your mouth then. You know, so that's tough. You see his ears his right ear is folded over. I mean, it's not pleasant. It is 100% as miserable, if not more, than it looks.
Matt Finesilver with a 3-0 lead.
Finesilver gets that leg in on the left side immediately. Now it's just kind of a short leg in there. Phillips doing a good job of not letting it get in there too deep. You see him fighting it with his hands. And there's Finesilver doing what he does, breaking him down, getting that leg in deep, and now he's going to use it.
Last 4 seconds of the period. Can Finesilver score here at the horn? He cannot.
And guess what?
More blood.
There you go.
Well, look at the frustration setting in for Phillips.
He doesn't even want to get cleaned up. He just wants, he's like, I want to get this thing off me. Let me get into this final 2 minutes so we can finish up. That guy looks like a wrestler now. Look at them trying to plug the nose without removing the tape. I mean, man.
It's impressive stuff. And the leakage of the nose started early in the first period, too. I mean, this has been going on for the first 2 periods.
Yeah, these guys might be on the mat for 15 minutes, maybe more. And Justin Phillips, you know, he says, I just felt Matt Finesilver on top of me. Let's go neutral.
Finesilver goes low. Maybe seeing the scrambling ability here of Phillips.
Finesilver is getting very close to the finish here. If he can cross-face and get his opponent off of his left leg, he should be able to finish this pretty easily. There's the crossface. Phillips smart, hides his head a little bit. And no 2 yet, no 2. Justin Phillips will not quit.
There's the 2 for Finesilver. .50 seconds of riding time now for Finesilver, trying to tack on that extra point.
Now he's going back, cranking his opponent's got the turn. Only 1 count. So no near fall points yet.
But over a minute of riding time. Last 45 seconds of this match.
Here he goes again, going back to that crank. And, I mean, you can just see how frustrated Justin Phillips is. I mean, he's the one throwing his arms up and saying, are you really stopping this again?
With 41 seconds left, we'll have to retape and replug the nose.
Yeah, they just need to start all over with that one.
So another delay here at 174. A win here by Finesilver gets the Blue Devils certainly right back into the match overall. But Finesilver really doing some good work here in the 3rd period.
Yeah, you see this scramble that ends up in Finesilver finishing like right there. But Justin Phillips is certainly game in this one, despite all of the challenges and the stoppages.
What do you take away from a match like this if you're Phillips? I mean, hard to get into a rhythm because you've got so many starts and stops in a match, right?
Yeah, hard to get in the rhythm. And, I mean, let's not kid ourselves. You're wrestling one of the best guys in the country in Matt Finesilver, a guy that's a proven commodity, a guy that has been off the mat the last 2 years, but is still ranked 16th in the country. He's still got a very impressive record on the season. So, I mean, you knew it was a tall order coming in, and I think you take away some of the positives. You know, if you're Justin Phillips, you were scrambling with Finesilver for most of this match, and, you know, maybe you hope these blood stoppages don't continue to be an issue. All right, what do you think the chances are, since they went back to just the plug here? What do you think the chances are we get through this last 41.7 seconds without another stoppage?
About 15%.
That might be a little high.
It might be. Finesilver looking to close it out. Sorry, Ryan.
I was going to say, Finesilver's going to try throwing that the leg on the left side in. Now he's going right side. And he's just kind of going double thigh pry here and hoping to ride out Phillips.
20 seconds left. Over a minute and a half of riding time.
He's so good just sneaking that leg in. He almost lulls you to sleep, and then when you least expect it, throws that leg in.
5 seconds. And it's Finesilver who scores another victory for the Blue Devils. 6-0 the final in this one. Blue Devils right back in it here in Cameron Indoor Stadium. We'll have more from Durham on ACC Network Extra when you come back.